Toys can be pretty creepy. Lots of people are spooked by dolls, Ouija boards, and other playthings. But some toys seem to be creepy beyond explanation. Don't take your eyes off the screen until you've seen the scariest side to everyone's favorite holiday elf. If this is your first time watching The Things, hit that subscribe button and give this spooky video a big thumbs up. Let's jump right in and investigate 10 haunted toys caught on camera.
I didn't see any rats, just toys.
Sneaky doll. Dolls are already a little creepy. They're tiny, lifeless people. Their dull eyes can be downright spooky. Dolls are also very beautiful, and many are pretty expensive. Lots of people enjoy collecting them. Sherry Shun is an avid doll collector. She has an extensive collection which appears to contain many porcelain and possibly antique dolls. Sherry inadvertently captured more than just the size of her collection when filming her dolls one day. This clip captures the terrifying moment that one of Sherry's dolls appears to move on its own. As the camera pans across her impressive collection, a deep-eyed doll seems to move its right arm. No one can be seen controlling the toy. There are no visible wires or strings either. For those who are afraid of the human-like toys, this is a nightmare scenario. For some, just looking at dolls is enough to inspire a feeling of unease. Being in a room full of them and seeing one move would be enough to send most people running. Can you imagine seeing an inanimate object move on its own? Perhaps the most disturbing part of the video is that Sherry doesn't seem to notice anything is amiss as she films her toys. The camera continues to pan smoothly away and capture the rest of the collection. It's as if nothing had even happened. This video is enough to put anyone off dolls for good. Twisted Metal. The Twisted Metal series are video games all about demolition derby. Not only can players use their vehicle to smash their opponents, but they can spice things up with outlandish weapons and items. Crushing a car with an ice cream truck is really fun. Mounting a missile launcher onto that ice cream truck is even better. The games and characters are all a little dark and rough. In this video, a person can be seen playing with a toy version of one of the game's most iconic vehicles. This ice cream truck is aptly named Sweet Tooth. The drive is a deranged killer dressed as a clown who goes by the name Needles Kane. YouTube user Trilly Billy demonstrates that the batteries are out of the controller of their version of the truck. There shouldn't be any power to it to send signals to the remote-controlled toy. Every time Trilly Billy reaches for the toy, it inexplicably turns on. This strange effect is demonstrated over and over as a hand reaches toward the toy and it answers with some mechanical buzzing each time. The controller is displayed, as well as the 12-volt battery for which it is clearly detached. We can't explain why this toy behaves this way, but it's obvious something strange is happening. Creepy laughter. Ghost Adventures is a show in which 3 friends investigate allegedly haunted locations. Each week, the show's stars travel to a new place and delve into local mysteries and ghost stories. In one particularly creepy episode, the crew goes to Mexico to investigate a world-famous spot. The Island of Dolls is a mysterious tourist destination full of toys and dolls. The island was never meant to gain so much attention from travelers. It has a sad origin story that fits its creepy atmosphere. The island began to be filled with dolls after a young girl drowns in the canal surrounding it. The island's caretaker, Don Julian Santana Barrera, found the girl and was consumed with grief. A few years later, he saw a doll floating in the canal. Believing it belonged to the girl, he hung it in a tree to honor her memory. From that day, the collection began to grow until it covered the entire island. The crew venture into a structure to find a doll named Steven. As they explore in the dark, an unseen toy in another room begins to laugh maniacally.
Bro, come here!
The sound is blood-curdling. The crew investigates the source of the noise and find a wall of dolls and severed parts. The scene is chilling.
What the?
Spinning Pinwheel. YouTube user Paranormal64 enjoys visiting haunted places and investigating local legends. In this video, he stops a local graveyard with his son to visit a child's grave. The pair brings along a classic purple pinwheel toy and places it in the ground by the headstone. The person behind the camera invites any spirits of children who may be nearby to play with the pinwheel if they'd like. Almost immediately, the toy begins to spin as if on its own. This seems to catch the men off guard.
Feel free to make it move.
The video appears to have been shot on a cell phone. Getting a clear view of the conditions and surroundings is difficult. Paranormal64 says that there's no wind that night and tries to film blades of grass to prove it. It's hard to see how still the wind is, so we may never know what actually happened. Was it the spirit of a child happy to have some company and a toy to play with? Was it a clever trick? Or maybe there was just a breeze that night. No matter what you believe, it's hard to deny that the video is spooky. The graveyard is beautiful and eerily calm at night. The gravestone is a somber reminder of the child that passed away. This video creates an extremely creepy vibe, and the sight of the spinning pinwheel is chilling. Possessed Princess. Many little girls love dolls. A beautiful new toy can be an exciting and treasured gift. A video posted by Eduardo Aguiano shows just a moment. This could be a happy and fun video of a young girl receiving an excellent gift. But instead of showcasing an exciting family memory, the video quickly turns to terror. The frame centers on a young woman who can be seen cradling a large, beautiful doll. She excitedly talks to the camera about her new friend. The toy is wearing a tiara and a ball gown. It looks like a beautiful princess. The doll's face is directed at the camera as the girl holds it. As she speaks, the doll's head seems to turn on its own to look up at its new owner. Understandably, the girl reacts with terror. She shrieks in fear and throws the toy down before the video abruptly ends. It's not clear how the doll's head could have moved. No one can be seen controlling it or manipulating it in any way. There are no wires, strings, or levers visible, which could have turned her head. No one appears anywhere near the girl holding the toy either. Morbid Elmo. Everyone loves Sesame Street. Generations of kids have grown up with the catchy songs and educational stories. The friendly puppets are a staple of childhood. Elmo might be one of the sweetest characters on the show. Countless toys have been made of Elmo. He's taught kids how to tie their shoes, tickle, and lots of other skills. The friendly little monster is beloved all around the world. There are thousands of Elmo books out there. One in particular caused a huge stir and even made its way onto several news outlets. The book is called Potty Time with Elmo and features several sound clips of the character that goes along with the story. Most of the clips are cute and friendly phrases like hooray and let's try and use the potty. In some recalled copies of the book, there seems to have been a mistake made in one of the clips. In the recalled book, one clip has Elmo laughing and asking, "Who wants to die?" What? It's not clear how many copies of this book were defective. The publisher released a statement that the books had all been recorded correctly, but that they merely had a playback error. We're glad this was a simple defect, and not an intentional mistake. Living Doll. A YouTube poster known only as Smith was in for a fright with the doll in this video. Smith purchased the antique with his wife at a flea market. They didn't know much about the toy itself except that its type was no longer produced after the 1940s. Nothing seemed strange about the doll until Smith says he put it in the family's chaise. That's when the toy began to move on its own. The toy is already a bit creepy on its own. It has no hair and the expression on its lifeless face is one of shock and fear. The doll is heavily worn and shows its age. It already looks like a prop from a horror film. As Smith films the creepy doll, it does appear to begin moving on its own. The doll's right arm slowly starts to raise and lower. We can't see how anyone could be pushing the toy. There's no one holding it, and it appears to be resting on an uninterrupted surface. As with many videos like this, there are no cables or wires visible that might hint that the video is a simple prank. At the very end of the clip, the doll's body does shift. Could that shift be a hint that someone was controlling the toy from behind or underneath? Toy sits up. Unlike a lot of videos featuring haunted toys, this one doesn't seem to be focused on the creepy event. This isn't a video about a creepy toy. It's a video of two kids practicing their cup stacking routine with their adorable little brother. We love cup stacking. so this video had us hyped from the beginning. If we didn't know we were looking for a creepy occurrence, we could have easily missed the terrifying action in the background. The girls in the video are standing in front of a large entertainment center. As the girls stack their cups, a toy on a shelf behind them seems to come to life. The small figure can be seen slowly sitting up, as if it wants to see the fun stacking action too. This tiny detail in the background takes an otherwise fun moment and makes it spooky. The girls don't seem to notice what's happening behind them, which is killing our anxiety. We have to assume there was a tripod and no camera person. If there's a haunted doll behind someone, you should tell them. We hope the girls weren't too freaked out when they watched the footage back. Summoned teddy bear. This video is kind of unique. It involves two creepy toys at once. The video is of a group of young men sitting around a Ouija board. One man holds the board in his lap, while the others all touch the planchette. The men swirl the planchette around the board without seeming to stop any particular letters or symbols. As they play with a toy that's already really creepy, a teddy bear behind them takes the fear factor to another level. No one is seen holding or controlling the bear. It's resting on top of a dresser just behind the man holding the board. Suddenly, the bear begins to move as if it's been possessed. Even more disturbing is that the man holding the board seems to be feeling uncomfortable. He touches his head and neck as if he's experiencing a sensation while they use the board. At first, no one reacts to the bear. The men seem to not notice it at all. They stand up for a moment and take a break. The video cuts. When the men return to the board, the bear begins to move again. This time, the men notice and are understandably frightened. They seem to flee the room as the video cuts out. Elf on the Shelf. This clip is not for the faint of heart. Elf on the Shelf is one of the most iconic Christmas toys out there. Lots of families can't imagine the holidays without one. Everyone's favorite Christmas sprite takes a surprising and frightening tone in this video, posted by Arnaldo Lopez. In the description, Arnaldo says his family's elf is named Carol. He says the video was filmed 7 days before Christmas, and it scared his family to death. The video opens on Carol the elf sitting innocently on what appears to be a table. At first, Carol seems like any other toy. As Arnaldo focuses on her face, the video becomes horrifying. Carol's beautiful blue eyes can clearly be seen moving. She goes from starting past Arnaldo to looking straight into the camera. At this point, the video abruptly ends with much jostling, as if the person holding the recording device runs away. This is a terrifying turn of events that certainly gives new meaning to the phrase holiday spirit. Part of the fun of the elf is the legend that it moves when no one is looking. Families love discovering their elf's shenanigans and sharing them online. Carol seems to have missed the memo that she's only supposed to move when no one is there to see it. We hope you weren't too spooked by these haunted toys. We'll see you later.